talk title today is Contemplating Being the Light. And I had a whole talk that I was going to write, and on Wednesday morning I started to listen to a YouTube, just about 10 or 15 minutes of it, and straight away I realized that I had to share this information with you. Something's happening to my mic. Where's my mic?
Where you are. I see a wire, but I don't see.
Disappeared.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you.
The
Okay.
magic works.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Yes.
So as I was saying, after listening and watching this YouTube video, just a few minutes of it, I realized that it was the perfect example of what I was trying to, or wanting to share with you. And in my last talk, I focused on our need at this time to be the light. And as we all know, talk is cheap. It's easy to talk about being the light. And as much as we might agree that we want and need to be the light, we may still feel that we don't quite know how to be it effectively. We may even realize that there's some inner work that needs to be done by us first before we are going to be able to embody the light. And being honest, we may not even be willing to put the work in, or the time and the effort. We may feel unwilling to let go of some of our most cherished resistances to the light, like unforgiveness, or our attachment to blaming others. Each of these, in its own way, blocks us from being the light, from expressing the light, certainly. So my talk today will look at these issues particularly and focus on some practical ways to be the light and the changes that we might need to make in order to be able to do that. You know, Unity's byline for many, many years was that it was practical Christianity. So this morning we're getting practical. And that means that there are practices involved that we can do. Now the universe, or reality, the world, whatever you want to call it, is a quantum field according to the scientists, which means that it's one unified field of energy. And while material reality, or the world, consists of many forms, it is in reality one unified field of seamless energy. It is one being only. And everything appearing in the quantum field is an expression then of the whole quantum field. We could call this field awareness. And we say that consciousness is expanding on the planet at this time, indeed in the universe. And what that means is that more and more parts of that field are waking up and remembering that they are really the entire field, not separated pieces having separated identities. More and more parts of the field are going deeper into their awareness of what it means to be the unified field, how each one of us relates to and expresses the unified field. If consciousness were described as a pyramid, we might say that the base of the pyramid is widening right now during the time that we live, as more and more people are becoming conscious. And the pyramid is also getting higher. It's growing taller as people become more aware of the deeper states of their own being. We could also describe awareness as light. The light of awareness is waking up more and more people. And it's also showing people the depth of their true nature. And perhaps you can identify with this as you think back over the last 10 years or so, that you may feel that there are a lot more people that you know who seem to be aware, and that you yourself have really grown in your awareness. There's a deeper understanding of who and what this mystery is that you are part of. And I want to emphasize that it is the light that is doing the awakening and revealing. We like to think that it's us. We're the ones. No, the light is showing up, and the light is waking people up. But our part in that is that we must have that intention. We must have that openness and willingness for the light to wake us up. And we must, above all, have an expectation that it's going to happen. In the Unity teachings, expectation is really emphasized. I mean, it's like thinking about Christmas. You have to have that expectation underlying everything that we're doing, or it would fall flat. When you were a child, where did you live during Advent? You lived in the land of expectancy. What am I going to get for Christmas from Santa? And starting in this Advent season, I really want to invite us to make our intention for 2020 that we wake up to the light that we are, and that we be that light and express it now. Now, not down the road, not in the next life, but right now. That we allow this light to reveal itself to us as us, and to illumine our minds, to help the darkness in our minds go away. That we have a felt expectancy about deepening our awareness of being the light, and how that manifests practically in our day-to-day exchanges with one another. We are all the quantum field dressed up as characters. The field of light manifesting in a mind-body form with these individual names. I love what the Decor Committee has done with our decorating. We have this beautiful light, and I love that idea of the light streaming, because that's really what's actually happening. The light is streaming in this moment like a live stream, and it's streaming you, and it's streaming me, and it's streaming all of this. So that's a wonderful backdrop to have as I give this talk. The quantum field decided before time and space existed that it wanted to manifest as everyone and everything. Why? I don't know. Well, I do. It all goes back to love. And what we call that the Christ, the light of the world. That's the quantum field that wanted to express and show up as everything and everyone. That's really what the Christ is. It's the light of the universe. And you might wonder about the truth of that when you see how parts of it are behaving. That's pretty normal. Here's the dilemma. We are asked to fully commit to being the character that we embody and portray, while simultaneously remembering that we are in fact the quantum field. And we need to be committed to both. I need to show up as this character 100%, and at the same time, I need to show up as the light simultaneously. And so too, everybody else, which is quite the sticking point, as I say, when they behave badly. The question is, how do I fully engage the world as Jerry, while still staying connected to the deepest reality of my being, aka the light of the world? And that's the question I hope that you're grappling with. It's kind of like the micro and macro the particle, the wave, the point, the field. It's like we're continually doing this dance back and forth. And here are some of the interesting ground rules. Everyone is the quantum field, but they don't have to know or behave like their true identity. That's one of the ground rules. Only I do. Well, you may say that's not fair. Well, everyone is on their own evolutionary journey and is at different levels of awareness about being the light. And some people, quite frankly, don't want to be the light. Now, often our subconscious reaction to that is if someone is not acting like the holiness of the quantum field, then I don't have to respect the divine truth within their being. I don't have to respect the light that's within them. Being the light of our true nature doesn't require so much working hard on our part as it does simply to remember. I just need to remember, and I'm right there. It's more about just aligning with the truth that then causes us to evolve. We need to simply align our awareness of who we are when we're feeling sad, when we're angry, when we're depressed, when we're sick, when we're fearful, and just align it with the realization that this too is the quantum field having this experience. Oh look, this is the light having this experience. Not, oh my God, I must work harder at not being sick and never feeling sad. That isn't necessary. That is just another denial of our true nature residing within my human form and experience. And it's just beating myself up. That judgment doesn't get us anywhere. It just deepens our forgetfulness, doesn't it? The more we simply remember, the more we feel like we have a cosmic parent carrying us from one breath to the next, making it safe for us to feel all of the full spectrum of feelings that we can experience and have all of these full spectrum experiences that we wouldn't necessarily choose, would we? But we're safe. The quantum field not just has our back, it's holding us completely, safely. We can't fail or fall. Remembrance is an exquisite movement of alignment. Let's do it right now. Just in the silence, I want you simply to remember, I am the light. I am the divine. And aren't you right there? You didn't have to get rid of anything. You didn't have to beat yourself up. You just simply had to open up a space within and remember the truth of who and what you are. When we remember who we truly are, we are using the power of imagination in the best way possible. Imagination is one of the 12 powers that Unity founder Charles Fillmore invites us to utilize. It's a faculty, or it's a tool of consciousness. Now, here's the interesting thing. We can use it negatively against ourselves and others, or we can use it positively. And one of the most damning ways we use imagination is to blame others. Blame is a hallucination. Because when you blame, you judge a character for something, when in fact he or she is actually the quantum field. And your hallucination is that they're not the quantum field. You have just been blinded by the form that they appeared in and their behavior, and you've forgotten their true nature. In such cases, we're using our imagination against ourselves to blame someone we label as other, while forgetting the holiness that resides in them and in us and in everything and everyone. To blame another is to cast judgment upon oneself, because the quantum field is the essence and the nature of me and them. So I'm really judging myself and blaming myself as the quantum field. Anytime someone blames another person, they are lost in imagination in a negative way or in a hallucination. It's the most common form of a mild psychosis that we all get involved in. Psychosis is a loss of being in touch with reality. It's a break with reality. And that's why I say blaming someone is a break with reality. In the case of blame, it's a loss of connection with the divine in myself and in another who I judge. And so alignment with the truth that there is only the quantum field interacting with itself as different characters erases the sense of victim, victimizer, or enemy. We are here to awaken to the truth of this reality in order to transform the consciousness of humanity. I'm going to repeat that because this is a major statement. We are here to awaken to the truth of this reality that we are all really the quantum field. There's only one of us here, in order to transform the consciousness of humanity. And it is why we have so many weird experiences and encounters. As others behave badly, while we continue to align to the truth of who they are, not getting caught up in the drama of the play, we are causing consciousness to expand. Every time someone is having a hissy fit right in front of us, and we don't go there, we just say, oh, it's the quantum field, it's the divine having a hissy fit. We have just expanded consciousness. I know this sounds funny, but this is really powerful. This is the truth. And we're furthering the awakening of people in their drama, the perpetuators of their misbehavior. And that is how transformation takes place, one encounter at a time. If we can stay or hold the field and our understanding of who we are, then the field expands around us and other people start to sense the energy that we are holding around them. Remembering that I am the light and they are the light, despite our behavior, is a beautiful practice of remembrance. Our imagination may try to kick in and say, I can't accept that they are the light when they acted in such a horrible way towards me or towards a child, whatever. But the truth is that we are indeed all the divine, growing into various levels of knowing and awareness and expressing the truth of our being. The question then is, when you witness a divine being not acting in a divinely respectful way, how do you reconcile the damage and the hurt that they have done while staying in the purity of alignment with the truth of their being? The answer to that question is what we call forgiveness. Every time we forgive, we have another moment of remembrance of who we are and of who the supposed other is. We remember our power to love, because we can never be a victim in truth. If we are the divine can't be a victim. Momentarily, there may be a pinch, but ultimately, we can never be a victim. And then to blame is but a misperception of the nature of reality and of all beings. Forgiveness is saying, we don't need to do that dance of forgetfulness. We just need to remember who we both are. problem solved. Forgiveness from the highest level is me saying, I forgive them for forgetting their own divinity or light. That's really all that's happening. They're forgetting who they are. They're forgetting that they are the light. And when I say I forgive someone, that's really what's happening. I'm letting them off the hook for forgetting about their own divine light and for projecting that forgetfulness onto me. They didn't see my divine light because they had forgotten their own. How could they see my divine light? They don't see their own. How could they have acted any differently? They were so out of touch with who they really are that they acted upon that perception in a way that was damaging or hurtful because they didn't see me as I really am, as someone deserving of the utmost respectful behavior in keeping with my holiness as the light that I am. They were so out of touch with their own divine perfection that they projected their pain onto a light being who would be better able to forgive them and to usher them further along in the healing journey so that no one else would be hurt by them in the future. So our mantra of forgiveness can be, I forgive you for forsaking the light in my presence. Together.
I forgive you for forsaking the light in my presence.
I forgive you for forsaking the light in your own presence.
I forgive you for forsaking the light in your own presence.
Now, how different does that feel than saying, I forgive you for what you did to me? Because that implies judgment and blame. This mantra has a whole different energy to it. I forgive you for forsaking the light in my presence. Can you feel the power of your true divine nature speaking in those words and emanating the light of your being into life? This is what it means to practice being the light. We practice by not blaming, we practice by forgiving. And thank you. Again, like Ho'oponopono, we say, hey, thank you for giving me this opportunity to remember my perfection as a divine light being, through my willingness to forgive you for forsaking your own light and mine. This, my friends, is Christhood. This is what it means to be a Christ. When we can get to that level and not get hooked in, and we can stay connected to our light, we can still see the light in the other person. And that is what Advent is about, preparing ourselves to practice being the light in this way. And this is really nitty-gritty stuff. This is practical stuff. We all get opportunities to do this every day, don't we? Through forsaking blame and instigating forgiveness, through remembering who I am and who you are, we grow into our Christhood. Here I am, the light of the universe in all its glory. Can I jump into that saying, into those words, and fully embody it? As I go through all the stages of growth and decline, order, disorder, and reorder, as Richard Rohr taught us, through all experiences, including negative ones, what we call and label negative ones, including other people's bad behavior, as just more opportunities for me to align with the light of my being and to bring more light on the planet, to expand consciousness as I do these things, and help shine that light into the world. Perhaps this week we can take time to look at the place blame plays in blocking our awareness of the light. And there's no need to blame ourselves if we've been blaming. It's just conditioning. It's the old paradigm. We were all taught to do that. All right, let it go. We can now step in to a new paradigm because we understand our power in those moments and how we can transform consciousness. And perhaps also then this week we can take the time to really understand the power of forgiveness and actually the process and the dynamic that's really happening there. That it comes from us being in touch with the light of our own true being in nature. And that the power statement that we can have is, I forgive you for forsaking the light of your presence or my presence when others misbehave and don't live up to their divine calling. And you know what? We can also do this for ourselves. When I think I've screwed up, when I'm not as perfect as a number one should be at the Enneagram, I can say, I forgive you for forsaking the light of your true presence. May it be so.